Yo, what's up, guys? It's D Brown with Trackheads. I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Trackheads. All right, so today we're going to be going over the trials that's going to be going on, the USA trials that's going to be going on in Oregon in order to make it to the World Championships this year in 2023 to go to Budapest. So today I'm going to be doing predictions, top three, everyone that's qualifying. I'm going to be doing them for the 100, the 200, the 400, the 110 hurdles, and the 400-meter hurdles. I'm not going to do any more other than that because really my predictions really just are in the sprinting space. You know, I can always make predictions for the 800, 1500 and mile, 3000, you know, and all these other distance events, but my bread and butter is mostly the sprinting events, the hurdle events, and I'm just gonna keep it real concise for you guys. All right, so without further ado, here we go. Okay, my first prediction is going to be for the men's 100-meter dash. So this is going to be like the buzz event. We have a bunch of people that's going to be in this actual event that it's basically going to be a free-for-all. Okay, so just to get started, my top three picks, they're not in any particular order. I have Noah Lyles qualifying. Okay, he's been killing it this year. Between his 60 at the New Balance at the New Balance meet in the indoor season, beating Trayvon Bromell. He PR'd this season in the 60, really doing his thing. He basically has been unbeaten in the 100 besides Christian Coleman and besides the high schooler that ended up running like 9.8 in that particular meet in Florida, wind aided. So he's really been killing it this year. He's been really consistent this year. He's been setting up his races. His top end speed is better than before. I think he's definitely going to qualify, if not win, and take the whole thing. I don't see why not. I mean, he's not running the 200. He's not going to be under crazy load. His main objective is to qualify for the 100. Okay, next I have is Christian Coleman. Christian Coleman, besides, you know, a couple of meets here and there where he got beat by out-of-country competition. I believe his name is, last name is Blake from Jamaica, not Johan, but I think his name is Akeem Blake. Yeah, Akeem Blake. He got beat by Akeem Blake in the LA Grand Prix. And also Cravon Charleston he got beat by. Other than that, though, I don't see three people beating him as of right now, unless he just has a major hiccup where he's not as consistent as he's supposed to be. I think that he's going to do a really great job, especially because we're going through rounds, so he'll have a chance to really work on the finishing part of his races in those runs. And the last person that I really have qualifying is Cravon Charleston. He's a big sleeper that a lot of people aren't talking about, but he's been really consistent just pretty much the whole season. He's just been progressing every single year, just killing it. He trains with Alan Johnson, I believe, in North Carolina A&T. So he trains with Daniel Robinson, Daniel Roberts, the 110-meter hurdler. So, you know, they look like they have a pretty tight-knit crew over there, but he's been progressing pretty much every year, and he has been, you know, running 9.9s pretty much the whole year, even overseas. And usually when you're pretty consistent, especially being overseas, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to make that adjustment when it actually matters. Okay, I do have some dark horses here. Okay, I do have some dark horses. My dark horses for the men's 100 is going to be Marvin Bracey and Trayvon Bromell. And the reason why I'm putting them both together is because we can't not acknowledge the fact that both of these men qualified for the World Championships last year, right? It was Fred Curley. Marvin Bracey almost took it from Fred Curley. Trayvon Bromell got third place when Christian Coleman was having his build-up year last year. So we can't discount that. Trayvon Bromell has been injured. He ran 10.0, 10.1 around that time overseas, and the year before he was having trouble competing overseas. So the fact that he's able to run 10.1 even through an injury season, I think he's definitely gonna shock some people and do some big numbers when it matters. Same thing with Marvin Bracey. I think, you know, with him signing this new Nike check, he hasn't been as hungry to go balls out in some of these overseas races. It's just been collecting money, getting in race rhythm, really just taking his time and making sure he stays healthy. He also had a child this year, so I truly believe he's picking his spots. He knows that he has the talent to make it on the podium like he did last year. So it's like, why do too much? Why over push myself when it matters? I need to make sure I stay healthy. And really, if history serves me correctly, the only time he doesn't really perform to the best of his ability is when he has a hamstring injury. So why run a 9.7, 9.8 at the middle of the year when we don't have to peak until August? That's where I think his mindset is at. So And like I said, when you actually get a medal, I can't see you going down from there. So those are my dark horses. It can very well be Noah Lyles, Marvin Bracey, and Trayvon Bromell, along with Fred Curley, who already has a bye because of last year's World Championships win. It could very well be Christian Coleman just looks at it from the outside, and Crayvon Charleston is an alternate on the 4x1 in the relay pool. So it's definitely going to be an interesting 100. They have 3 rounds to go through. It's whoever can manage the rounds the best, and that's why partly I think Noah Lyles is going to take this, because he gets faster and faster and faster as he goes through the rounds. His reaction time gets better, his starts gets better. As long as he doesn't sleep in these blocks, I think he should be just fine, pending injury as well. Let's get to the women's 100-meter dash, okay? For my top 3, I have Sha'Carri Richardson. I don't think there's anyone beating her from the United States. She already went 10.5 with the illegal wind. She went 10.7 legal wind, and she's just been pretty much killing it. Some of these meets where they have a prelims and finals, she's shown that she can jog an 11.0. She's shown that she can jog a 10.9. I don't see anyone beating her. I think the only person that could beat her really is herself. If she stays focused, she's cool. She might actually shock us and drop something crazy this meet, but she seems like she's in a very good headspace, so I can't wait to see how she does. Next person I have is Aaliyah Hobbs. She's missed consistency. I don't think there's been any runs besides a prelim where she's running over 11 seconds. Plus, she had a heck of an indoor season where she broke 7 seconds many times and almost got I think she got the American record. I believe she did in Albuquerque at the U.S. Championships, but regardless, she's been running under 7 seconds. She's in a really good rhythm now, pending some knee issues. I don't see her not making this team. And then the last person I have making it is Tamari Davis. So Tamari Davis has missed consistency as well. One of the reasons why I pick her in the 100 is because that she also dropped her 200-meter personal best this year, I think at 22.4. She almost beat Miss Abby Steiner in her opening 200. So with that strength that she has, and she has a wonderful 60, has a 10.81 100-meter PR from last year, I do not see why she shouldn't be able to not only handle the rounds, but to finish as well as Aaliyah Hobbs and Sha'Carri Richardson, because it doesn't seem like it's going to be one of those races where someone's going to be out to 60 and you can't catch them. It's going to be 60 to 100 where the race is going to be decided. So I think those 3 athletes all have the strength needed to be able to finish that run. My dark horse I have for the 100 for the women is TT Terry. Excuse me. She trains with Sha'Carri Richardson. I mean, she's been doing wonderful things. She went 10.83. She's been in the 11.0s, 10.9s, but she went 10.83. I think it was wind dated when she was in Africa, Nairobi, I believe. When they went there earlier in the year, I think April or May. But she's been doing really, really well. And she's missed game time, when she's rolling, and she's a gamer. So I think that she definitely can be considered a dark horse. She could definitely sneak for that 3rd spot if Aaliyah Hobbs or Tamari Davis isn't in a good position, or God forbid somebody false starts. I think she can be the athlete that can take it, because she has a wonderful start, wonderful drive phase, and she also PR'd in the 200 this year as well. I think I like 22.5, 22.55 or something around there. Definitely under 22.6 she PR'd. So I mean, again, when you have that 200 meters start to cook and really start to be consistent in that 22.5, and you have a recent PR, or look for that 100 to really show itself, and plus, like I said, she trains with Sha'Carri Richardson. I would assume that if Sha'Carri's cooking, TT is also cooking as well. So that's my prediction for the 100 for the men and women. Okay, let's move on to the 200. Hopefully I can go through these a little bit quicker. All right, for the 200 we have for the men, I have Ariane Knighton. Ariane Knighton has been killing it. Under 20, has been just ripping off sub 20 200 meter dashes pretty much the entire year. For anywhere from like 19.9 to 19.8 to 19.7, he's been pretty much cooking. I mean, Mr. Consistency. I think when it's time to drop, he's gonna drop something. Also, he had his first time under 10 seconds this year, so I definitely think he's gonna drop something crazy. Next person I have making it is Fred Curley. Fred Curley has all the focus to be able to just focus his attention on the 200. Last year, he didn't necessarily get the opportunity to, because he had injury in the semifinals of the World Championships, which was unfortunate. He also has issues with the turn, but I definitely think that with his 400-meter strength and his 100-meter speed, and he has not competed in the 200 but one time this year, which was like 1992, over at the Diamond League, one of the Open and Diamond League meets. I think it was Rabat. So I'm definitely looking forward to see how he competes. It's definitely going to be a sub 20 clocking pending the weather or anything stupid that happens. But I definitely think he can put a lot of pressure on Ariane Knighton. I mean, he's going to have to, if he wants to be able to attack Noah Lyles, if he's thinking about going to double gold. Ariane Knighton is the first person in charge of that. The next person that I have is Terrence Laird. So Terrence Laird was an LSU heck of an athlete, LSU athlete. Really talented, but had a lot of lower back injuries. But he definitely made a comeback year this year. He went 20 flat in a comeback. I think, I'm not sure who he hawked down. I think it was Richards, not from Trinidad and Tobago, the athlete from Trinidad and Tobago. That's who he ended up hawking down in the final stages of the 200. I think that was at the LA Grand Prix. So yeah, I think it was Raheem, I forgot his name, but he's the 200, 400 meter athlete from Trinidad and Tobago. He ended up hawking down, and it's very impressive when you are able to hawk down a 200 meter, 400 meter athlete in the 200. So he's definitely strong. I think the only thing that can hold him back is injury. Last 100 that he ran, he did not finish the race. It wasn't a good run. It was in New York. So hopefully he's healthy and he's able to compete really well. But I definitely think that he's up there to snag that third place. I do have some dark horses for the 200. My dark horses are Robert Gregory from the University of Florida and Josephus Lyles, that trains with Noah Lyles. So I picked Robert Gregory because that boy went like 19.6 at regionals, I believe, either the regionals or the SECs. During his collegiate campaign or collegiate year, he went 19.6. You don't run 19.6 and not be considered a threat, especially when your coach is the University of Florida coach, Mr. Holloway, Coach Holloway. You have to throw him in the mix to do something crazy, because they've had about 2 or 3 weeks to recover from NCAAs. I think he's going to be ready to drop something pretty crazy. So just keep an eye on him. It just depends on if he can handle the rounds. And he's a finisher too. Very elastic athlete. So definitely someone to look out for. Next person I'm looking for is Josephus Lyles. Josephus Lyles hasn't run many races this year, but in all the races that he's run, he's been running close to his personal best, if not his personal best. Especially in the 100, he's clicking right towards that 10 flat area. I'm not sure if he ran 9.9. I'm not sure, but I definitely he's been in the like that 10.1 flirting area. And I mean, when you're training with Noah Lyles, the fastest man in one of the fastest men in the 100 and the fastest man in the 200, and you get the opportunity to train with him every day, I don't see why he shouldn't be considered in that top 4. Because last year he broke 20 seconds for the first time and just missed it. I think he got 4th or 5th place. So with all that being said, definitely someone to look out for, especially since they're taking 4 athletes. So I'm sure he will want to join that camp along with his brother. For the women's 200, let's move along. For the women's 200, I have Gabby Thomas making it. I mean, with the 21.6 PR, she has no injuries. She managed to finish her meets throughout the season relatively healthy. She ran the 100 near her personal best. She ran the 400. She has a 49.6 season's best, enabling her to finish rounds and finish really strong. So I think she has this pretty much sewed up. The only person I can see taking this from her is Abby Steiner, and coincidentally, Abby Steiner is a similar kind of athlete with a 50.3 season's best from indoor season. So I definitely don't see, or at least a very low 50 400 meter indoor best. So Abby Steiner is definitely, I think it's going to be the Gabby Thomas and Abby Steiner show for the 200 in terms of battling and going through the rounds. And but I definitely have Gabby Thomas just taking that. I mean, there was a head-to-head race that they had in Paris, kind of like a preface to the next year's Olympics, and Gabby Thomas definitely took that in 22:02, which is a very impressive run. Like I said, Abby Steiner, I have coming in 2nd. Sha'Carri Richardson, I have coming in 3rd. And this is just, depends on if she actually finishes the 100 healthy, because the 100 is a very tough event. But if she does run the 200 and her mind is where it's supposed to be, I definitely see her snagging 3rd place. I mean, she jogged a 22:0 and some change when she was in Africa in Nairobi, running her 200. So I definitely think she's a big threat. I think it's gonna take maybe a 21.8 to win this run. And if that's gonna be the time, Sha'Carri could definitely just walk away with this. It just depends on how she manages her rounds and how fast she decides to run the final. She could run it very smart in the 100 and then have enough energy for the 200. It just depends on where her mindset is at. I have a couple dark horses for the 200. The dark horses I have is Brittany Brown. Okay, Brittany Brown has been having some recent PRs in the 100. So I definitely think, and she's also 400 meters strong as well. So I definitely think that she can definitely make a big impact in the 200. And she, at one point in time, she was the only person to make it to like a final of a 200 a couple years ago. I believe it was 2019. I believe was the year. So definitely don't discount her. Also have Tamara Clark qualifying for this run as a dark horse. I have Jenna Pendini as a dark horse, and I also have Tamari Davis as a dark horse. So I have a lot of dark horses here, but there's a group of athletes that are within this 22.3 to 22.5 area that are looking in prime to really be able to PR. It could very well be Tamara Clark, because she hasn't had a lot of races this year because of her ban. But it could also be Tamari Davis, because I mean, she just PR'd in her opening 200 at like 22.4 to compete against Abby Steiner. If she's in the proper lane and her mind's right and she qualifies for the 100, I don't see why she doesn't qualify for this run, okay? And actually, I want to double back real quick, because there's one person I did not consider. There's the high schooler, Batman's daughter. I think her name is Shantae Jackson. She's someone that could definitely come in here and ruin some potential picks as well. So, I don't want to add her specifically, but, definitely keep an eye out on her too. In this 100 and 200, she could definitely be someone to come in and do some damage, specifically in that 100. The 200, that 22.7, I don't think is fast enough, but that 100, I mean, she went 10.89 and she went 10.89 this year, but it's all about how she manages those rounds. Okay, I think I'm going to keep it right there. I'm going to make a part 2 to this. That was the 100 and the 200. I'm going to make a part 1. I'm going to make a part 2. So definitely keep an eye out open for the part 2. All right, this is D Brown with Trackheads. Thanks for watching. These are the predictions for the USA Championships 2023. Thank you. Peace.